Okay, regarding the API class, I started to review the video you kindly provided. What should I download and where can I download it from?
Well, anyway,
You probably said it, and anyway, go ahead.
yeah, it depends which model are you going to use. You're going to use, we have two main ones that we have shared. Our Claude and OpenAI classes are both shared, public.
I would use both.
Well, I'm saying you'd have to they're different classes. So I'm asking you, is there one over the other that you'd prefer to start with? Because
Chat GPT.
The chat GPT. All
yeah,
right.
I'll put it in Telegram.
Okay. So that'll be what you put in include into the
Yes, that's exactly right. So you would have to, that class, you would download it, you would extract it into a folder, right? Whatever you want to put it. Usually what we do with those is that we put them in the documents folder, AutoHotkey lib, which is where all the libraries live, right? I will show you on my computer in a second. But once you put it there, in your script, you will include that library and by just putting the path to where the library is located at. That's it. And now let me show you, because it's a good, in general, it's good to just know how to do that, right?
and then in my script I put static authenticate, like all those lines.
Exactly. The example that we had. Exactly. That's exactly right. Actually, if you grab the same script that we gave you, the only thing that you have to change is the include into the one that the location to where you have your stuff. So let me share my screen real quick. And basically you will see that if I go to the Explorer window and go to documents, I will go to AutoHotkey. I have a lib folder. Now, you don't have to do this part. I usually keep libraries V1 and V2. I'm almost about to delete the V1 library, but I have some scripts that depend on that, so I haven't deleted it, right? But you don't have to keep them like this. I do that just to make it easy for me. But whatever you put the class, right? Let's say that you want to include the OpenAI class. Then you need that path of the included file. So you can copy that path, right? And now in any other script that you have, let's say that I'm starting a new script, I can just say include and I paste the path. That's it. Notice how I just pasted the location of where the AHK file is. And because of that, yes, I can just start typing OpenAI.authenticate, because what's going on is that now that file is now pasted in this location, the whole thing, all of this text, all of that right here, all of that is right in here. It's just, you just see it as one line, but AutoHotkey really just goes ahead and copies everything and puts it right there. And because I did that, then I can just call the OpenAI authenticate, and with my API key here, right? So you can do all of that if you want, just because you included the library. Hopefully that makes sense. And anytime somebody says, hey, this is a library, that's what you have to do. You have to download it and include it in your main script in that way.
And the library gives me new powers that I can do in the script. Like
that's a good way of saying it, yeah. The library just gave you superpowers, because basically now you can do something without having to create it yourself, right? Many times you will need a wheel. Why would you reinvent the wheel? You just get somebody who has a wheel. Basically, that's what a library is.
Get you who invented the wheel.
Well, Lexicus too. He created this WinRT library that I'm like very excited of using, right? Do I understand what the hell he did? No, I have no clue. Actually, I look at the code and I'm like, dude, that's crazy talk right here. And he somehow makes it in less than 500 lines. I'm like, I could have done that, right? Of course, someday. No, it is very cool that we have this idea of somebody else does the work and we just copy it and use it. That is the power of Python, for example. Python is a language that is so powerful. It's because a lot of people have spent a lot of work in creating these little packages. Now in Python, oh, I need to open a microphone. Somebody built something for that. Oh, I need to create a string in this way. Somebody built a package for that. Oh, I need to do advanced math. Somebody has a package for that. I just need statistical analysis. Somebody built a package for that, right? In AutoHotkey, we are in a very special language. It's niche, it's very specialized. Not many people are working on it. It's not like a popular language. That means that many times you have to do stuff yourself. But sometimes somebody already created a very cool library that does whatever you want. So let's use it, right?
We stand on the shoulders of the past software developers.
That's how it is. That's always like that. Yeah.
And also, Ray, when you first start programming, you know, at least I went through the feeling of getting embarrassed and feeling bad that I was borrowing people's stuff and tweaking it. But that not only is that accepted, that's expected, right? Like they that's why they're often sharing their code, is they want you to borrow what they did.
Yeah.
So it's you know, a lot of programmers are really into just giving everything away, and of course they usually have full-time jobs where they're getting paid, and then they have hobbies, right?
Yeah. Just imagine I remember GeekDude created the JSON library, right? And I use that heavily. Like I really use that in a lot of tools. I cannot work without a JSON library. Like I need that. I don't have the time to create it. He did it. Let's use it.
Hey, Isaias, let's look at the real quick because it's on the topics and I haven't seen anybody yet with an actual question. That open router library.
I have a question.
Really...
Yeah. Excuse me.
Okay, Connie, go ahead.
It's because it's on the same topic.
Okay. Cool.
What he said is that the include is that code is put into your script as if it was like a copy of the. But when you compile it, it doesn't look like it's there.
Yeah, it does.
You can't if you browse the executable, you can't see the include libraries.
No, because they get pushed in, right? Isaias, it's all one.
They get copied, right? It's literally copied. It's not, you will not see an include line.
Right.
You will see the full text. Let me demonstrate what I mean by that.
Okay.
So,
I guess
look
I
at
didn't
this.
look carefully enough.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
Here's what happens. So this is your include. This is your code. What AutoHotkey will literally do is grab all of this code right here. It will grab it exactly like this. It will copy it and replace that line with it. And that's what the executable will actually look like.
Okay.
Exactly like that. And the includes matter. The position where you put them matter because of exactly what I'm saying. If you put the include inside a function, it would try to put the code inside the function. Does that make sense?
Isaias, the most important thing is that the inclusion is done in interpreter time, not before. It's done. It's done in when it is interpreted. not when it is put into a exe file. It's done while
Well, yeah, I would call it the preprocessor time. So
Yeah,
the
yes.
script is not running. There are some processes that are happening before the script runs. So yes, at that time, and because it is happening at that time, your conditions don't matter. If statements don't work, loops don't work, none of that is working because
And that's
AutoHotkey is not even there yet.
and that's why you don't see it in your exe file, because in the exe file you see only the include stand, and then later on when you are running it, then it's included in the file.
Thank you. That was my experience. Is if you just open in Notepad executable, you don't see that code.
Well,
That's
you,
right.
you see the code, you don't see the include. Just to clarify, right, Connie?
Oh, I don't think so. I think it's put in at execution time.
No, the code gets concatenated all together, for lack of a better term.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
It is? Yeah, the code
Yes,
is
it
there.
is.
Yeah. So also, I'm sorry, not also, I should say, years ago when I was working with Maestricht, we were doing something, and up until then, I had always used includes for functions. I wasn't using classes then at the time, right? And we were doing something. He said, "Here, let me do an inline include." I'm like, "What?" And normally we use includes to include like a function or a class or something that doesn't actually do something, right? It's
Right.
some sort of a library or a reference that you might use. You'll call it, but it doesn't do something. But
Right.
you can actually have it a linear format kind of thing, right? Of have it do actions. And that was a
Yeah.
big aha. That's what really helped me understand what Isaias is saying too, as far as it does matter where you put it.
Where you put it, right?
Because if it's doing something, it will follow that order.
Just imagine that you have, let's say, some unmessage.ahk, and this file has this piece of code, var equals 5 + 5, and then message box var, right? That's what that file has in it's saved in it. And now my main script has a function, let's say that is show message, and this function, what it has in it is an include summon message.ahk. I can do that. Now the interesting part about that is that this piece of code, which is not a function in itself, it's just a piece of code, will be placed or copied right here inside the function, which is what Joe is saying, which has another implication, is that you can have another function called main script, do a lot of actions here, and then it goes ahead and includes this other part right at the end. And now the piece of code will be placed right here inside this other function. So it's kind of like a reusable piece of code. So think about it as a function without it being a function, because you just put an include somewhere and that piece of code is going to be placed here. Now, have to be careful with this. There is include, and the include, whenever you use it twice, if it finds that you have done it already, it's not going to include it again by default. But there is another command called include again, well, directive in this case. So you could include it once and you can include it again. It's the same piece of software, but you're telling AutoHotkey, yeah, I know that I included that somewhere else, right? But I want it here as well. So put it here too. That's what it does. So just so you know, that's what Maestricht was doing, and Joe was like, "What? I've never done this," and like, "What? I've never used that either." Like, I don't know why, in which situation I might find that useful, but I know that it's there. So in some cases, if I find out that's a good solution to my problem, I will definitely use it.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Isaias. I would, the simple one that pops in my mind is, let's say in your include, you're defining variables in a certain way, right?
Yes.
And then later you're doing code and you've changed that value for whatever reason. And you're like, you know what? I just want to go back and reset to where I was before, right? Like,
Right.
is that a dumb example? I know it's a dumb example, but I'm just saying, like,
I'm
okay, I
not
get how.
sure. The one thing is, the one thing is, I don't quite understand exactly how you thought it, but if that includes anything as an if statement, then no, you cannot do
No,
that.
I'm saying
So
in your function, you've
Yeah.
defined some variables with a certain value. And
let's
then
say
later
50.
in your
Yeah.
code, you're doing some work with those variables. Oh, I want to go back and just reset the stage back to what they were.
Okay, so
Function.
I think I understand. So now I will start working, and now I have actions, and then I say, oh, you know what? VAR is now 100,
Right.
and now more actions, and then you say, you know what? Let me reset. Okay, so then include this guy, and that would basically reset all my variables, all of them at the same time,
Right.
to their sort of default values. So let's call these defaults, right? Yes, now I understand this is totally doable. Now, every time you keep working now, you can go ahead and do it again, and then include your defaults once more. The only thing is, remember, this does not work in a loop. So if you have a loop like this, right, in which you do some actions and then include, that will not work. Because what's going to happen is this include will happen way before this loop even starts. So your loop is actually gonna, well, actually you can, right? Because if you change var to 10 here, and then you include the defaults there, what is gonna happen is that these two guys are gonna be placed just right here. So you're effectively doing your actions, resetting everything, and then starting again, and then resetting everything again. So it will work, but it's not like it is including it over and over again, all right? That's all what I'm trying to kind of like specify. Loops happen way after the includes happened.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.